You got the nigga that's fighting everybody. You got the nigga that's sitting on the corner selling the dope, or
Yeah, the hustler.
you got the nigga, you got the shooters that's going
Yeah.
out and doing that shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you got the niggas that don't do nothing but provide opportunities for the hood.
For
And,
everybody
niggas
else,
like
yeah.
me that's a voice for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I might have done a little bit of everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't did the drug dealing. I didn't went on a few. That's
Yeah.
past tense shit.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
But it's like that shit was all stupid. And then it's like now looking back, like I could have like threw my whole life away. You know what I mean? And that shit's never worth it. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
it's like
that's
now
right.
that I've been through all that and I'm able to be like, okay, yeah, I fucked up, but I'm lucky to not. I've never went to jail, bro. You know what I mean? And knock on wood, you know what I mean? But
For real.
I done been through all that. So now that I'm, doing the things that I'm doing with my career, it's like it's a good thing that homies coming up in the neighborhood that still live in the neighborhood. They say, "Oh, he's really from 127th and Broadway, and he got songs with this dude, and he doing this, and you know what I mean." Like,
Right.
so it's giving hope to the community, bro. Like, even though I'm not over there all the time, I might pop my head up every now and then, but I know how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
You know, like homies is still warring with enemies. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and I mean, being a voice for your neighborhood, you can't just stay there.
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're a voice, that means you gotta go. You gotta reach the masses.
And what's so crazy
You know what I'm
is, look, so I was mad that we lost my pop's house because my pop's passed in 2012, right? He died of cancer,
Rest in
and
peace.
appreciate it, bro. But we lost the house because my brother was in position to keep it, my older brother, but he was like, man, y'all figure it out. But at the time, like, I had that mentality that, oh, I don't need to work. I'm rapping. Like, it's going to fuck my image up if somebody see me at Walmart or
Right.
Guitar Center or whatever
Which
I've
is-
done.
Which
You
is
know,
crazy.
which is
We need
stupid.
to
You know,
revert-
like, but we need
reverse
to,
that.
exactly.
Real
But that's
talk.
the mindset I had at that
Yeah.
time. I was like 22 or 20, you know what I mean? So, like, we lost the house, right? But I'm like, damn, I wish we would have kept the house. But then I'm like, yeah, never know. Like, that shit probably happened for a reason. Like, what if I was still staying on 127th and Broadway doing everything I'm doing? Who's to say I would be alive today? Or one of them, I still got all my siblings. Who's to say they'll still be alive? You know what I mean? Because we was comfortable, bro. We was over there since the 90s. So we was walking to the store and hanging out and, like, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know how you go through dangerous neighborhoods and be like, I would never stop here? That's a dangerous neighborhood, but
Yeah.
we felt very comfortable
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we live in a dangerous neighborhood.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it's every day. It's natural.
Exactly. It was nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like, nigga, I don't want to go to this gas station. This shit crazy.
Right.
And then you know how you look at niggas like, man, that nigga look tough, but you know his
Yeah.
goofy side.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just like how the
Yeah.
homies, like, he might bag on you, but that nigga be killing
Yeah,
niggas.
he crazy. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just one of them things, bro. And I'm just like learning to like know that everything that happened was for a reason and to protect me and part of the journey. And I had, just
I mean, it's
accept
cool
it.
that you came to that conclusion. I think that's a hard conclusion for. It sounds simple, you know what I mean? But it's a hard conclusion for a lot of people to come to, especially. We've lost a lot of the same homies, right? So I know you've been through loss because I've shared some of them with you. You know what I'm saying? When you think back now, like, because I remember losing homies like stupid young. I'm talking 13, 12,
Yeah.
them type ages, and and the people that was dying was that age too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 12 all the way to 18, 19, So I knew the death and I knew the loss very early, and it took for me to get older to realize how those things affected me.
Nah, for sure.
Do you ever think about that? I mean, obviously you do. You in your lyrics you write about some of it, but just for the people that don't know, is there a particular loss, or how did these losses affect you now that you look back on it? How you were looking at things back then?
Man, the first person I ever seen in a casket was I was real young. It was this dude named Biko from my neighborhood. He was like I don't know if he was Mexican or Hawaiian, but he was from Anthony's Park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had he was Indian, I think. He was Indian, so he had like the long braids, and he was in the casket. My dad went to the wake and he took me, but cause I knew Biko, you know, he was a real cool dude. He was cool with the family. Then I seen him, you know, just that was the first person I ever seen dead that I seen alive. So seeing somebody look stiff and he looked like a mannequin. So I literally asked I put it in the song. I literally asked my dad why he looked plastic. You know what I mean? He was shot in his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the first person I seen dead. And then the second person was my homie from Avenue Pyro. His name was G Roach. He was 18 years old. And depending on how long you sit, this is I know this now, but I didn't know that then. So imagine seeing a youthful looking dude and he's sitting for a month or two while they getting the funeral expenses together, and then he looked in his 40s in a casket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, like, but the particular losses that fucked me up real bad was my homie Gino.
Rest in peace.
You know Gino.
Oh, yeah.
Gino introduced us.
Yeah.
So Gino.
Shoot, I live right next door to him.
Right. Gino died in a car crash in 2010. And that was the dude that really, like, helped my career. Like, when I was a 18, 19-year-old kid.
I was going to say, because you would, man, you was stupid young.
Bro, I was 18.
I was young at that time.
I was 18, bro.
Yeah.
18, 19, maybe.
Yeah.
No, when I met him, I was like 16, though. But by the time he took me to Game, and this one Game was like, Game, nigga, like red hot. Like,
that's when he had like the Hood's Finest thing going on.
Yeah. This one Game was like, he just left G Unit. Right?
I remember that. Okay.
So Game put me on a mixtape called The Black Wall Street Journal, Volume 1. And that was the same song I was on with Kendrick and J-Rock and all them niggas. So I went dead last and I ain't gonna lie, like, if y'all see this, I killed y'all. Like, I killed everybody on there. I ain't gonna lie.
No doubt.
But that's what got me my name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that loss like really killed me, man, because that was the person that kind of started my career off. And then the other loss was one of my best friend, Low Pro. It was this dude he was hanging with. He was somebody that the family always helped him out. He was like homeless and had family issues. This dude, and I told him to stop hanging with him, and that was the same dude that killed him. Right? So that shit was fucked up. And then my homie Baker Man, he helped, like, when I was like, after we lost the house or whatever, I was struggling. I didn't have nowhere to go, and he told me to come stay with him with my daughter mom and my daughter. And he ended up like falling into like a deep depression, and he was just drinking every day, and his pops found him. You know what I mean? And we didn't know how he died. And then the autopsy came up, and it was like alcohol liver disease. So pretty much the depression led him. I mean, because he was always like a drinker.
He drank himself to death.
But he pretty much drunk himself to death. He was losing every time because my mail was still going there. So every time I was going to check my mail when I come to L.A., because I was living in Vegas at the time, he was getting little, and he was naturally like a 230-pound dude. So like when I hugged him, and I'm skinny.
Right.
So when I hugged him, he felt skinny.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what's up with you? Like, you know what I mean? And then when I came one time, he had like 3 bottles of liquor next to the couch, and he was just laying on the couch. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, bro? And then I just wish I would have did more, because like I told you, Gino, my brother used to work at Costco. He met my homie Big Mike. Big Mike was cousins with Baker Man. I used to go to Baker Man house to record, and then Baker Man introduced me to Gino.
Okay.
And then Gino started my career off.
Yeah.
So when we talk about life, I like to go and accept the process, because one thing leads you into another. I know we always like to have the answers right away, but it's good to just let it flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you take one of them dudes out, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? And my life would be totally different. And that's what people don't understand. Like, one little thing you take away, your whole path would be different.
Man, yeah, nah, that's real talk, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how big of a loss, in particular, that Gino was.
Yeah.
And I know not just homie wise, but just the fact again, your career's in flux.
Right.
I know that had to be kind of jarring. Like, man, it's like I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
And kind of like the battery at the time just goes away.
Yeah, so lately, like for the last, especially through the pandemic and all that, I went into my own depression because here it is that all the homies I started with is dead, and these is the dudes that steady motivating me to keep going. You know what I mean? So then I'm like at the house by myself because I live in Vegas now. I'm at the house by myself. My studio is at the house. So I'm waking up. I don't have no motivation to record, even though the only motivation for me to record is I know that I'm dope and I know my fans want some music. But I'm going through all this different shit, and I'm like, damn, my niggas is gone. Like, what am I really doing this for now? You know what I mean?
And then the way they go too. That's what
Yeah.
Especially like your homie. The homie you was talking about that had drank yourself to death. It's like what's tragic.
You didn't have to do that.
Yeah. But what's tragic about that, besides him dying, is that the whole time he's trying to escape something.
Escape the pain.
You know what I mean?
And
he couldn't escape it.
Nah. And then what? And this is what made me, cause I used to smoke, like during the depression I'm talking about. I was smoking, cause I'm not, I used to smoke a little bit coming up, but I was smoking like back to back to back. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, and I thought I was feeling good, like I thought I was in a good place because the weed make you escape.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, I need to stop smoking and attack this head on. You know what I mean? So I haven't smoked in like 6 months. You know what I mean? Because, like, I feel like it was, like, covering up the depression. So then I started doing real work. Like, I got a life coach. I started going to the gym every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's something, because in our communities, people are scared to get help.
Nah,
you know
bro.
what I'm
Like,
saying? And it seems like, again, a lot of these things I say all the time, like, in the hood, we can't show feelings. They look at it as weakness.
Yeah.
And it seems I'm saying this every week, but it's so real. And so the fact that you were, that's why I say healing is gangster.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
man,
Because
listen.
it's gangster to do that. It's gangster to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go get me a life coach.
Like I said,
that's
the
real
shit you're
talk.
doing, bro, is very important. You know what I mean? And like I said, I had to realize what I was doing to myself. I was falling into deeper depression by smoking. So I said, okay, let me put this down. So by the time, if I do end up smoking again, it's purely just to have fun.
It's not to escape.
It's not to escape
your problem, what you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what that stuff is for. Like, weed ain't bad, but it's just depending on how you're using it.
Well, it also depends on the person. Like,
Exactly.
Some people have addictive personalities.
Yeah.
So, it can trigger them to. That's when it become, when they talk about the gateway thing.
Yeah.
Weed in itself, they say, oh, it's a gateway, but it's the person. You know what I mean? If a person's inclined or they have a predisposition to be like that, then they probably shouldn't smoke weed if it's going to make you graduate to coke and all these other different things. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely depends on the person, which is why clinically I try to treat every case individually. Because everybody's different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I love that you were strong enough to come up here and talk about your depression, because that's hard to do in front of a camera, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, I always tell people that people think that depression is just something that it's like a light switch. They just be like, you know what, man, just go smoke some weed.
And you be good.
Go fuck some, some girl. I was gonna say the B word. I'm getting better with that.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, go fuck some girls. You know what I'm saying? Go. You know what I mean? But depression is not something that you can just turn off and on. Sometimes it has a biological factor. You know what I mean? Sometimes some people have chemical imbalances.
Nah, for real.
Where they need medication sometimes. But just emotionally speaking, it's something that you gotta process through. Like, you gotta cognitively train yourself to know what's going on with you. You know what I mean? It's not something where it's just like, oh, let me just be happy. Like, you're choosing to feel like you're feeling.
It's so crazy that you saying this, because I had a session today with my life coach, and I just said that. I said, sometimes you'll think when you're going through shit, you'll just check yourself like, oh, bro, you tripping. Like, and like I said, I use the same shit like it's a switch.
Yeah.
But you actually have to put in the work every single day, and you have to be intentional. Like, I want to be better. I need to not think like this. So, like like,
or what I'm thinking is wrong.
exactly.
You know
So
what I'm
you have
saying?
to train yourself to think a certain way, because even falling into a depression, that's just you every day just ruminating and thinking about the past so much, and then that becomes a habit.
Right.
So everything we go through is just like a habit, bro.
I
And then
always
you have to break habits.
I always tell people when they're like depressed or they're feeling, like they have like low self-esteem, because a lot of this comes from like negative self-talk sometimes. It might cater into the depression. If the depression's already naturally there, sometimes we'll cater to it by the negative self-talk. You know what I'm saying? So what I tell a lot of clients to do is when they're having this negative self-talk, reality check yourself. And what I mean by that, and this is a cognitive behavioral thing, right, is reality testing is basically testing your theory, saying, all right, this is what I feel about myself. Okay, is this really true though?
Right.
And you sit there and you be logical about it and you break it down. Is this really true? A lot of times you'll find out that the things that you're saying about yourself are not true. You know what I'm saying?
Going through something.
Yeah, and that's why you got to train yourself to process that. You know what I mean? And if it is true, if you feeling if you break it out and investigate it and say, oh, this is true, at least you can say, okay, there might be some validity to this. What can I do about it?
Right. And then I feel like a big part of it is people not having purpose and like a foundation.
Yeah.
So like I noticed with me, cause my mom tried to take me to church and stuff like that. I'm not really super like religious, but I feel like you have to have some type of relationship with a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To have that purpose in
Absolutely.
life. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times I was talking to myself instead of talking to God or, whatever, you call him, Buddha, whatever, and I'm like, I have to like develop that, you know what I mean? Because you can't do nothing without that, bro. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah, if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there's nothing to keep you on that line.
No, seriously.
You know what I'm saying? And if there's no purpose to anything, then yeah, you're just sitting there like, why?
Why?
Why me? Why this? And again, it's so dope that you're bringing this up, because every week, I'm telling you, purpose, it comes up. It's one of the strongest things that I use when I'm treating people.
And then when you get into that depression mode, right, then you develop a victim mentality.
Yeah.
Like you said, why did I have to go through this?
Yeah.
Why me? Why this? So then you have to realize, like, all right, well, I can't think like that.
You can control some of this. You can
literally
control a lot of that.
You may seem like you clean cut, you got a nice outfit, clean white shoes, but I don't know what the hell you going through.
Right.
So I can look at somebody and think their life is way better than mine, but everybody got their own set of problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even when I feel like, and I tell all my people, like, bro, like, don't spend all your time, like, scrolling down Instagram, because Instagram and, social media, that's everybody highlights. You know what I mean? So if you literally, like, feeding into that shit, it's really gonna question yourself. Yeah, like, damn, he got a Benz, why I got a Chevy? You know what I mean? He got a big house, why I got an apartment?
Yeah.
But then you gotta realize, okay, like, I got an apartment, bro. You feel me? And I thank God for having my apartment, because when it's cold as fuck outside and I walk in my shit and I look like, damn, I can be outside right now.
Yeah, man. What?
You know what I'm saying?
When I drive, man, when I'm driving, I'm still thankful that I got legal registration.
No, seriously.
That I got legal insurance. I really be driving around like, I got some, and I've had it for years.
Right.
But I remember driving around, no registration, no insurance, gun in the car. You know what I'm saying? Got to take the back streets because you don't want to take the, you know what I mean, the police. Like, you got to appreciate the small things, bro.
Yeah, bro. And then
which are actually big things.
Yeah, so when I stopped, like, comparing my life to others, like, I done did a lot of dope shit in the industry, but I'm like, it's just pretty much not my time to be that big right now. You know what I mean? I feel like you was telling me off camera a couple weeks ago, like, God is preparing me to be that person. Yeah. And I have to pat myself on the back, because I seen a lot of growth in myself mentally. Like, I'm a way different person now than I used to be, like, even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so and I wasn't ready to be like in the limelight. Like now I feel like I'm getting more, ready for that, and I don't care about like criticism or people judging me, like, cause we all human at the end of the day. People look at Jay-Z and Beyonce like they like not human or something like
Right.
that. Like they just like us.
I
You know
mean,
what I
it's
mean?
also again, again, appreciating where you're at as well, because
Yeah.
and I remember we talked about this too. Is you put in a lot of work. A lot of people listen to you. I've listened to your music and got gems from it. I like that you actually, because one thing about artists, you don't have to try to reach people. You can just do the party music. You could just do the kind of the surface music, which is nothing wrong with that. I listen to a lot of it. But it says a lot about an artist when they take the time to write something that the everyday person can relate to. You know what I mean? Where did that come from with you?
So uh so the way I started rapping is my dad picked me up from high school one day, and we got in the car, and then the radio was on, and I forgot what was playing, but it was some bullshit. This is when like the dance songs first start coming out.
Oh, like you talking about
I'm not the down this song, but like shit like Laffy Taffy and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then I got in the car, and I'm like, damn, I can do this.
Right. All right.
And my dad looked at me and was like, well, do it then. You know what I mean? So, but coming up, I always listened to people that really told their story. Even though Eminem was like really like, off the wall, he said a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I feel like he still like put his real life in his music.
Absolutely.
Tupac is my all-time great. So those was like my inspirations. Nas. Even though being from LA, that's like my favorite rapper.
You just say like my top two rappers.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
That's
like,
my third rapper.
Jadakiss is another
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I like his wittiness. So it's
Yeah.
like I feel like that's my whole style. Is like all them dudes combined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
did it come from those experiences that you talked about, that need to, like I said, reach people to say something, to have a message?
So yeah, the reason why I got into them guys is because back in the day before social media, when you would buy an album, you would literally, that would be like the soundtrack to your life. Like you'll go to the swap meet, buy a CD, look at the pictures in this, you know what I mean? Look
Yeah.
at the pictures in the book and literally have that CD or that Walkman with you for like 6-9 months studying that music, because they were speaking on things that you were going through as an individual, even
Right.
though they were like on TV and famous and stuff like that.
Saving
So
your life.
so when I exactly saving my life and giving me
Yeah.
direction.
Oh yeah.
So once I felt like I was an artist now, I didn't want to go for it, because it was people that came to me like, man, you should just make some ratchet music. You should make party music. And, like, yeah, I can do that, like, talent wise, like I'm able to write anything I want.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, I don't want to be known as that. You know what I mean? I want to be somebody that, like, I get DMs and emails like, yo, I was about to kill myself and you, like, saved my life.
Man, that's what it's
And
about.
then that shit is like, that's bigger than a Grammy. That's bigger than a BET award. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
bigger than money.
It's bigger than money, bro. And I've seen a couple. I don't know if it's 100,000 by now. I don't know, but I've seen some all right money, like, you know what I mean. But it's like that shit ain't nothing compared to that type of stuff.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean? Like, now if I'm able
yeah.
to, and then I had a convo with Game like probably like a year or two ago. And then I was like kind of like telling him like it was like during my depression. And we was like outside the studio after we recorded these records. And I'm like, bro, I just don't understand why like I wasn't big, like I didn't get bigger and stuff like that. And he like, bro, he said, bro, you are one of the dopest niggas from LA ever. Right? And he's like, what's wrong with being like one of the dopest underground niggas LA ever seen?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I know I can take it further. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that'd be cool though if that's all it is. I'll be thankful. You know what I mean? But I just know that with focusing eliminating distractions and getting out of my own way, because that was really my problem my whole career, is just overthinking. But it's a part of the stuff we talking about, the trauma, and like, who's to say if I came from a better home or a better upbringing, I probably would have been famous already, but I probably wouldn't have appreciated, to the magnitude that I will now, going through all those things.
And I think too, when you see through a clearer lens, now that you're dealing with your depression and you're able to see what it is, I think it makes those compliments stand out even more now than probably when they said that to you. Because a lot of times when you're seeing through that depressive lens, it doesn't matter what people are saying.
It don't matter.
You still feel
you still
like,
question yourself.
Yeah, you still question yourself. But if you think about it, Game told you that.
Right.
Go check out Nipsey Hussle's legendary Crenshaw tape. Rest in peace to the homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're on there.
Don't
and
take days
I
off.
know, and this the thing. Me knowing Nip only messed with dudes he thought was dope.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, or people that he saw a vision in. You feel me? And so clearly he saw something special in you, because he's just not gonna just put anybody on his song, on his album.
Right.
At that. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're able to look at those things outside of a depressive lens, you're like, man, you know what? I'm the shit.
Nah, for real, bro.
You feel me? So, and I feel those are the moments that will keep you grounded, but those are also the moments that give you the faith.
Yes, sir.
That you doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? For real, man, because those are some mega, those people changed the world.
No, seriously.
You know what I'm saying? So when you got other people that have changed the world saying, yo, you can change the world, believe that shit, bro.
Yeah, and like you said, like, it don't really matter what nobody tell you. If you don't believe it, is never gonna matter. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been working on, is just believing in myself. You know what I mean? Because, like, I know that I'm talented, but sometimes I question, like, even, like, I went into a phase where I wasn't able to write like that for, like, 2 years. I was able to write raps here and there, but, like, most of the shit I've been putting out recently been old music that I've been sitting on, because I'm such an overthinker. Like, oh, it's old now. Like, you know how you have something in your hard drive for, like, a year?
Yeah.
And you be like, oh, no, this old. But then you would play it for people that come through.
It's
like,
new to them.
Exactly. It's new to everybody. So it's like, nigga, why you ain't putting none of this shit out? Like, and then Steve Lobel told me, like, nigga, all that shit gonna turn into digital dust if you don't put it out. And then the other homie that told me to start flooding was Slim 400.
Shout out to Slim.
Nigga was like, bro, like, you fucking dope as shit. Why are you holding on to this shit, bro? Why you overthinking and shit?
I just heard how much he likes what you do.
Yeah, that's my boy.
You know
so I've been on it forever. So but that's like a part of, like you said, my upbringing, and just everything I'm going through, and my personal issues, and so I'm just working through all that trauma and
helping other people.
And helping other people.
And that's what's important, because for all the people that the detractors of hip hop, people who talk shit about rap, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I know people have said this before. If it wasn't for rap music, you would have had a bunch of dudes not dealing with their emotions at all. And I'm not going to just say dudes, women and men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not dealing with their emotions at all, keeping them bottled up, exploding in the community, going to jail, dying, even worse. Can you imagine if rap wasn't here? That's why I always say, yo, like, me personally, hip-hop saved my life, bro. It was my first therapist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why when you ask me why did I take the route of, like, talking about, like, real struggles in real life, is because it's like, that's important. You know what I mean? I know how influential rap is.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like you
helping
said.
people get through shit.
Exactly. So if I'm using it just for monetary reasons, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be doing a disservice to the people. You know what I mean? Like, what am I really in for this for, to just be influential? You know what I mean? And help people. That, I feel like that's what life about in general. Because it's like, I can just be here and worry about myself, and then when I die, nobody's going to remember me.
Right. Because
I just worried about myself. So now it's like, if I lay these bricks and help people and and make a name for myself and leave these footprints in the sand. Like now it's like, okay, he was one of the dudes that, you know, been one of them. I really want to be one of the most influential ever, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's real, man. You know, another thing the late great Nip said was, you know, the greatest success is to inspire.